Hey guys, welcome to this live stream. I'm very proud to introduce to you the Amped 1 from Blackstar. The Amped 1 is a 100 watt power amp in a pedal, and it can power your modelers, your profilers, your pedal boards straight into a cabinet, but also go direct. It's pretty cool. There's loads to talk about, so we're going to dive right in. I've got a close-up ready for you guys to see a little closer and a bit more in detail, so hopefully that's a little easier. But I just started out there with a sort of a higher gain sound, if you like, a more overdriven sound, but it is really all about clean and boutique overdrives. It's not a high gain product. Try and think of this as your amp head, somewhere to put your pedals into, hence the name Amped 1, amp pedal. So I'm going to turn that off to begin with. So we're back to sort of a lower gain sound. Let's take a quick listen. So we're currently going direct out of the Cabrig output. Cabrig is Blackstar's proprietary DSP speaker design system, which you can design via your Mac or your PC. You can choose cabinet choice, mic placement, on or off axis, and also room reflection, room mic ambience. And you can design 3 Cabrig settings to store straight to your Amped 1. It's very similar to the Department 10 overdrive and distortion. If you're used to those, you can store 3 Cabrig locations to those. And this is part of the Department 10 range. Amped 1, because it's got 1 channel, you can store a preset on here, 1 preset. So the clever thing is you can probably have something laid out in a physical sense like I've got right now, and then the preset might be a louder volume version of that, or it might be a higher gain version. So I've got, I think it's an EL84 UK with a fairly driven preamp. So that would be my bass tone. I can clean up nice and easy. If I go to my humbucker, these are the sounds coincidentally I've been using live for the last couple of gigs I've done. This thing blew me away, blew my head off. And then I got a little more of the same, just with a bit more gain. Really cool, built-in reverb. So what you've got on the panel is you've got your gain input stage. You've got 3 voices. You've got USA, UK, and flat. You've got 3-band EQ, bass, middle, treble. You've got your master volume. There's a power reduction from 1 watt to 100 watt, depending on the environment you're in. That's for if you're connecting to a cabinet. So you can take 16 or 8 ohm out of here, connect to a cabinet at a full 100 watts, which is a killer feature. So you know that anxiety you get as guitar players when you turn up to festivals, gigs without backline with you, and you're at the mercy of what's on stage. If it's a combo, you could plug into the return of the combo, or you can go straight into a 412, a 212, or a 112, anything that's running 16 or 8 ohms. So that's really amazing. There's the response dial as well, just over there. That's got 5 valve simulations derived from our TVP patented response dial. Loads of great sag and punch that you would get and expect from a real-life valve amplifier. You can store one preset, like I said, on the right-hand side there, and you've got your reverb as well. One of the cool things about this product is you can store a reverb in here, and you've got a choice of 3 from the software. So we can run through that shortly, but it also has a freeze function, which is one of my favorite features. It's hard to do sort of while it's up in the air right now, but I'll show you if I can. I've got a fairly generous reverb there, but if I sort of hold the reverb button, you've got that freeze function, which is great if you're into that ambient style of music, that shimmer effect that people love out of a lot of high-end delays and reverbs. You can't help but smile. Ho, ho, ho. Christmas has come early. Everything's white today. The lighting I have, I'm pretty much the same colour as the Amp one, but winter's here. But nevertheless, let's carry on. So what I want to do is show you the software, if that's cool with you guys. So there you go, you can see our cab rig. There's 3 windows that open up. You've got your main cab rig window with all your controls, your EQ, your settings, etc. presets. You've also got your cabinet choice window as well, and also your mic choice window. I've just had all 3 open up so you can see them. But you know, if I run through the 3 presets that are on this amped one, the 3 cab rig presets, when I go live and direct show, these are the choices that I've put in there. So there's a ton of reverb on there as well, so we'll disengage the reverb, but we also have room mic ambience control. So let's dive into that a little closer so I can show you some of the stuff you can do. Hopefully this will change on screen simultaneously at the same time. So if I solo that, I can just solo my room mic feel. So let's go for maybe a small room damped. Increase the level of it. Just so it's a touch of ambient feel. Bring back in the original mix. See, that's given me a lot more of a room feel. So if I'm on a silent stage, if I'm on in-ears, orchestra pit, anything like that, that's going to give me more of a feel. I could increase it, of course. Let's go for a stereo feel. Let's go for a large room. Again, if I solo that. If I mute it, really dry. So I can tailor it back a little bit and then add reverb secondary. I can really dive into the low cut, the high mids, whatever I need to. So we've got that. Low cut there, about 254 hertz. So bring it back about 170. There's a bunch of EQ presets as well to choose from as a starting place. You can obviously store your patches locally on your machine, or you can store 3 to the amped one, which is really great. We've also got setting dial as well, so we can look at the audio path. We've got control over our effects loop, whether we want it pre or post, in series or parallel. We've got reverb type as well, so I can choose anything from room to spring to plate. I'm going to go for plate because it gives me a lot more ambience. We can control the reverb time and the reverb tone. I like a darker tone, so save to the amp. And there we go. So now I can tailor the reverb on the dial itself. If I go to my main screen, I can tailor that back nice and easy. So that's just scratching the surface of what Cab Rig is all about. It's such a wonderful, easy software program to get into. It's a very light program. All of the internal DSPs within the product. So for recording, made easy. Get your pedals down to your headphones, down to recording via USB. USB-C loaded on Amped One. There's an effects loop on there, there's MIDI as well, which we haven't talked about just yet, but there's so much cool stuff with this product. It really is quite something. Hopefully that was really useful for you, all that little look at Cab Rig there. So let's run through some tones, shall we? I'm going to stand to do that so I can see what I'm doing. So let's look at something like flat and linear. Now the reason you would use something like this is if you're happy with a preamp pedal that you might be using and a power amp simulation that you might be using on a modeler or profiler. There's going to be a bass platform for you, right? Very neutral, very flat. Which is perfect for a place to start with your modelers and profilers, especially the high-end stuff, to allow you to connect to a cab. Let's face it, these days guitar players, they use neural DSP gear. You've got the Kemper stuff, you've got Axe Effects, Helix, you've got loads of amazing products out there, and often there are guitarists that do miss that punch and that air on stage. So they sometimes purchase a FRFR, flat response full range cabinet, to bring that back into the fold, or a speaker, PA speaker to be as a monitor to give you some power on stage so you can actually feel it. You're adding the weight back into the equation there. There are lots of rehearsal rooms, lots of venues, lots of festivals that have backline there for you. But that anxiety when you turn up and you're not sure what you're using, you're going to have consistency with Amp One every time. Plug into a 412 on stage and you're good to go. Really, really cool. And if you haven't got a cab or an amp on stage that you do want to use, you can go direct. It's your other solution, and have your sound coming through wedges, in-ears, anything like that. So that's our cleaner, flat linear. Let's go USA, let's go 6L6, which is an obvious choice. Let's add the reverb back in. Remember, we chose a plate reverb this time. Tons of headroom on that. If I push the gain up, let's move around. Let's go for a KT88. Very, very little compression on that. EL34. Much darker. 6v6. So especially on that American voicing, bring the reverb back. You know, that sharper small combo. Nice little champ or something like that. EL84. That British chime. And we're back to linear. Very tight, very clean. Let's go for British. Let's go for EL84. Let's bring that gain back. Just a great replication of these tones. EL34. L6. Bit more of a rounder low end. Low mids. KT88. Just superb. It sounds amazing, and that's just going direct. So what I'd like to do now is actually put it through a St. James 212, which is behind me here, and let you breathe that in. We've got an Aston Stealth mic on there, so bear with me a second and we'll get that set up. Here we go. Alright, so I'm running the amped one at 1 watt. I'm coming from my home studio. I don't want to annoy the neighbours. Let's dial that sort of screen back in so you can actually see that. It is on 1 watt in that top position, just here. Yeah, we're going through the 212 St. James with the Celestion Zephyr speakers in there, based around a vintage 30 feel. It sounds killer. To prove a point, I've got my XLR there. I've pulled the XLR out of the cab rig output on the right hand side there. I've got my other cable, my speaker cable. I've got a really long speaker cable, so it allows me to have the amped one on the floor if I do want to run a cab at a show. So that's plugged in there. it works and sounds killer. Amped one, really, really cool. Another thing I'd like to show you guys as well is I've actually made a small pedal board for some of the shows I've been doing recently myself with my band, and I want to get that together for you shortly, so you can see how it works with a pedal board integrated. But let's listen to a couple more tones before we change over to that. It sounds wonderful. Let me get that pedal board up and running, and I'll be back with you in a moment or so. Yeah, and recently I used this pedal board at a couple of shows, once on in-ears, once without. The only things that are going in the front end of the amped one are the overdrive and the tuner. The delay and the boost are in the effects loop, which will give me a true line level lift and a really nice, clean, clear delay. So again, my first setting that I generally use is an EL84 UK. I can clean it up with my volume and my guitar. Humbucker. Fair amount of reverb there, and again I've got the hold function. Whenever I need that ambient feel. I've got my preset loaded in, which is a higher gain version of what we just had. I can drive it harder with the overdrive. Got my built-in delay there. I've got my boost as well, giving me a true line level. That's going to lift it a little bit on this live stream into the DAW. It's going to give you a bit more distortion there in the ears, but rest assured that gives me an awesome lift live. And of course my tuner when I need to tune up, you know, all good. So guys, hope you've enjoyed this live stream. The Amped one is out now. Check it out. It's a killer product, and yeah, perfect for pedalboard guitar players, perfect for guitar players that are using modelers, profilers. If you want to connect it to a cab, Amped one bridges that gap, but also to go direct, plug your pedalboard into cab rig, all that good stuff. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.